Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I bankrupt joined again by Jimmy and Fluff.
Yeah.
What's going on, beautiful people?
What was that? Today we're going over the green Broly cards for set 19. Huzzah. Like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click, they're there for a reason. But let's start with the leader, Broly. Activate main, once per turn, discard one card from your hand, look up the top 7 cards of your deck, choose the 2 green extra cards among them, place them underneath your leader, shuffle your deck afterwards, awaken when your life is 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy and there are 5 or more extra cards under your discard. You may draw 1 card, switch 1 card to active mode in your energy, and that's pretty cool. It kind of gives us an idea that this deck is going to be more extra card theme. And when you awaken, you become Broly the Ultimate Saiyan. Auto when this card attacks, draw 1 card, place up to 1 green extra card from your hand under this card, and add up to 1 green extra card from your drop to your Z energy. Activate main, once per turn, place 1 green extra card from your hand under this card. Your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. Activate battle, place 1 green extra card from under one of your Broly BR cards in its owner's drop. Choose up to 1 of your Broly BR cards, and it gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. I like this engine for 2 reasons. Reason 1, it gives us an extra, quote unquote, a second hand, which would be the extra cards you put underneath your leader. And I also like this because it's thinning your deck out so that way you're drawing the cards you want to draw. And it also it gives the extra deck stuff, or sorry, the Z energy cards as well.
Well, one of the things that we haven't seen yet about this archetype, which we'll go over as we see the cards, but I think all of the cards revealed can be activated as if they were in your hand from under one of your other cards. So, like Bancroft said, it's really increasing your hand size while also filtering out cards that you might necessarily not want to draw from your deck, which is a fantastic approach.
And we've seen a archetype similar to this with Red Broly being a very extra card heavy deck. I think this is the best way of fixing the main issue that deck had, which was your hand is just flooded with extra cards that in a lot of situations were kind of useless. And this will allow you to put those extra cards in another place to use when you need them, while your hand will stay healthy with the cards that you actually want, not have to keep flooding your hand with more and more extra cards. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about this deck saying, or this particular leader and archetype, like it doesn't seem very great, but I think the same people said the same stuff about Invoker, which is also a very heavily extra card themed deck. And a lot of the same things were said. So I don't think any of us has done extensive testing with these cards, saying that they've just come out today, but just off the bat, like there's some like really neat interactions with this deck that I think could be kind of cute in the future metas.
And since this deck's so extra card heavy with the ability to potentially use these cards for underneath the Broly BR cards, we're going to go over those extra cards first, starting with the True Power Awaken. All the extras we're going to go over first have this permit where if your leader card is green Broly card and this card is under a Broly BR card, you can activate this card's activate skill under the same conditions as if it was in your hand. And this particular one is for 1 energy, activate main, limit 1. If your leader card is green Broly, Z leader, your opponent may discard 2 cards from their hand. If they don't, during your opponent's next turn, the skill cost of activate main skills on their cards in their hand and battle area is increased by 1 energy, which is crazy. And then activate main for limit 1. Place 1 green extra card from your hand under one of your green Broly BR cards and send this card to your drop, to your warp, draw 1 card. So it kind of gives you even another area to play this card from, because you're playing it from your drop instead of underneath the leader or from your hand.
So something to note, one of the counters for this deck that has popped up and made people talk about it was Absolute Annihilation Son Goku. There is not a clear ruling if that would affect the cards under your leader card, but due to this permanence wording saying as if they were in your hand in the same conditions as if they were in your hand, would on first glance make Absolute Annihilation affect these cards. That is yet to be confirmed, but that is something to think about if you are going to look into playing this deck, because that would be a pretty heavy counter for this particular archetype. And this activate main is really, really good. I think if it being locked to the Z leader is a good option, because if you're able to like just start popping this out as fast as possible, it might be a little too strong. Um, and depending, again, if they want to go crazy and rule that all of the activate main keyword skills are also affected by this, it could really shut out like a lot of archetypes, such as like overwhelm
Yep.
archetypes and strategies. Um, that being said, I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be yellow text only. Um, but just adding an additional cost to what is a lot of times a free effect will possibly just turn the tide on a game.
Yeah, I think that this card is going to be really good against certain archetypes, where it's going to be very lackluster in other archetypes. Because I can think of a couple decks that just don't use activate main that frequently, if at all. And against those decks, this card is going to have no effect, because why would they discard 2 cards if they know nothing in their deck is going to be affected by this? So unless they happen to rule, where we have to make the differentiation between what is an activate main skill like Overwhelm or something like that, that could make this card a lot better. But I think they're going to leave it where it's just tied to the yellow text, like Jimmy said.
And probably more specifically the activate main, because there's that whole confusion. I can't remember. I think it was the red Broly we talked about a second ago. Activate battle cards. Those do not count the activate main / battle, because it's a separate thing.
Yeah.
Cunning murder. Same permanent. Activate main, limit 1. If your leader card is a green Broly BR card, and you choose one of your green Paragus BR cards, negate its skills for the turn, and place it in the owner's drop. Look up the top 7 cards of your deck, place up to 2 green extra cards among them on your leader, shuffle your deck afterwards. This is a 0 cost card. We'll go over the Paragus later as well, but it just gives you more thinning and more of a, extra card plays for the future.
I think this card is going to be instrumental in the strategy itself. Like, the card doesn't read that strong on its face, but I think this card is going to absolutely be instrumental towards the deck accomplishing what it wants to do, specifically in the way of awakening. And then, you're basically sacrificing a card that's done its job for 2 additional cards in your quote unquote hand or under the leader. So I think this card is going to be extremely good in the archetype.
We brushed over it, but you're kind of getting like a second hand, and the second hand being the cards underneath your leader. And any card that is going to put another card under your leader is essentially drawing 1, that being what you're going to draw. But I read this as a 0 cost, pretty much draw 2. Of course, you have the cost of the Paragus on field, but this is essentially a draw 2. One of the possibly bad things about this is that your opponent will know what cards are under your leader, and they can play around those specific cards since they're out in the open. But that could also be good to make give your opponent a false herring on field. And like, I don't know, like it just seems really good. Just essentially a draw 2.
Out of control power. Activate main / battle. If your leader card is green Broly BR card and your opponent has 3 or more battle cards in play, choose one of your leader or battle cards. Choose all battle cards with a power less than or equal to the chosen card's power and KO them. Potentially for 1 energy, a board wipe, as long as you just have a tall card in play for yourself.
Seems really good to me. I mean, there's really no negatives to this card at all.
It will kill the card you choose, though.
But yeah, you swing with the card that you swung with, and then, let it do its thing, and then KO the field. And you'll also see that there's a Brawly card coming that might bypass the cost of this card.
And I will also point real quick, this is a good way. If you put this card underneath your leader, your opponent now knows, like, okay, if I'm going to establish a board, I need to make sure I get what I get out of it before they blow it up.
Yep.
And this could also kind of factor into the older Broly chains of popping your own cards to go up the chain. So I think that might actually be like very strong to run that chain alongside this extra card package, uh, since you'll be thinning your deck out of all of your extra cards. You'll only be drawing into your good Broly pieces, so you always have an option to go up your chain.
And the Brawly cards replace the old Brawly chain replaces themselves when they're KO'd.
Mhm.
So, benefits for KOing your own cards? I think so.
Chila's Aid. Activate battle limit 1. If your life is 4 or less, choose up to one of your green Broly BR cards and it gets plus 5,000 power for turn. It's just a free activate battle. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, that very vanilla as a card goes, but also kind of nice as well.
Especially in combination with out of control power.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're kind of seeing. We saw it with the Red Gogeta archetype from the previous set. Um, we're getting more cards that give a Sensu Bean effect, uh, which is really nice because that's been pretty much locked to blue alone. And I think blue still has the best Sensu Bean effect in the form of Sensu Bean. But being able to just give your leader card or whatever, 5K for the turn is really, really powerful in a lot of matchups. So I think this card's a fantastic inclusion. I don't know if it will be the crux of this deck, since it is going to be a very extra card heavy deck that you're not going to be able to combo with a lot of cards. So maybe this 5K can be kind of the thing that evens the odds with you and your opponent.
Yeah. That was kind of my thinking. How many times do you combo one card out of your hand to get out of a leader swing or a battle card swing? And where you're running a primarily extra card deck, these are just nice to kind of even the playing field a little bit.
And for the last two cards, with this permanent effect, we have Wishing to End the Battle. It's a counterattack. If your leader card is Green Broly BR, Z Leader, negate the attack. Additionally, you may place 2 extra cards under one of your Green Broly BR cards in its owner's drop. If you do, your opponent can only attack 2 more times for the turn. We saw something very similar to this in the other green deck, which was Whis' yada yada yada, capricious, whatever.
Capriciousness, yeah.
I don't mind these negates. Is it dormant? No. But initially kind of does the same thing in a sense. Dormant relies on the free play being if you have a unison. And as we've seen so far, there are no unisons for set 2 Zenkai.
I think these cards are kind of a side grade to Dormant. I don't think they're particularly better. I don't think they're particularly worse. One of these strategies to play against green, if you know that they have a Dormant, loaded and ready to slam, is to swing with your big bodies first, like with your good keyword skills, because you want that attack to go through. If they negate or they counter with Dormant, they can't activate another negate. So unless they have a blocker, they're going to have to deal with that attack, because if you're not familiar with it, Dormant does not negate the attack, but it only allows your opponent to attack one more time that turn. With these cards, if your opponent is playing against the traditional green strategy and they swing with their big body first, you just negate the attack and you still put them under some sort of floodgate or lock. So I think these are really good. I think you run them in tandem with Dormant. I don't think you run one or the other.
I would agree with that, mainly because I think this one and also the Gogeta one require your leader to be on the Z leader as well to be able to play them, and they're also locked to those said decks.
I think we kind of touched on this in the last video as well, about how this paired with homicidal clones is strictly better than Dormant plus homicidal clones. So in a lot of ways, this is kind of overcompensating for, yes, your opponent still gets 2 more attacks, but you're getting the full value out of something like homicidal clones, which is really nice.
Training with Ba. Counterattack. If your leader card is green Broly BR card, when this card activates from your hand or under a card, negate the attack and add this card from your drop to your Z energy. That's just great. It serves 2 purposes. It's giving you a Z energy for furthering plays with other things, and it negates the attack. And like I said, it can be played from your leader, which is even better.
I do hope that we get some more generically good Z energy cards.
I think giving players more options of getting cards into their Z energy is really, really good. And putting it on a negate, I think every color should have a negate similar to this that will go to the Z energy after use. Because sometimes when your opponent is swinging with like big aggro and like swinging with something like Senshin on who has like triple strike, and you really need cards in your Z energy, you don't want to say no negate and then combo out your entire hand to get out of the attack just to put one card in your Z energy. But just being able to say, no, I'm going to negate and then also get a card in my Z energy is going to be really, really powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
And for the last of the extra cards, this one doesn't have the permanent, but controlled rings restraints. Activate main limit 1. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, you may add 1 green extra card under your leader to your Z energy. If you do, and this card was placed from your hand to the drop, place this card from your drop under your leader. I don't know what that serves ultimately, but that could benefit other plays, which we may go over in a second. But it's free to kind of get that exchange out of the way.
So it just lets you swap out like a card maybe that you've already used.
Yeah.
And kind of keep the quality of the cards that are under the Z leader up. If maybe you have something that's not doing anything in the current board state, just kind of fixes the current problems that you might have.
Initially, you can actually pull a controls ring restraints from the top 7, put on your leader, then activate one from your hand to put that one into your Z energy for furthering plays, while you just put this back where it goes. I think that's the only real purpose there. It's the cycle itself in a sense. Going over all this Z energy, let's go over the Z Awaken. So for 2 Z energy, 1 green energy, if your life is 4 or less green, Broly BR. When this card attacks, look up top 7 cards of your deck, place the 2 green extra cards among them under one of your Broly BR cards, and this card gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Activate main once returned for 1 green. If you have 4 or more energy, play up to 1 green Broly BR card with an energy cost of 8 from your hand. Does that count as secret rare? Is that Broly BR?
That is not a Broly.
That's
BR.
not Broly BR.
It's not a Broly BR.
Yeah. Okay. Activate battle. Place 1 green extra card from under one of your Broly BR cards in its owner's drop. Choose up to one of your cards, and it gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. And once again, you can just use the card we just went over, Control Ring Restraints, as a way of just cycling that out of the way. So now it gives you an additional 5k boost when it doesn't have any other way being used from underneath your leader.
I do like that it says choose one of your cards instead of this card, so you could use it to save, another card or pressure on a big attack or something like that.
The leader's swing adds to one of your Broly BR. It doesn't necessarily mean itself.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I really like that as an effect.
And while it cannot target the Broly secret rare, you could put a big green battle card on field and then pop it with the previous extra cards that we looked at to then play the other secret rare off after that. So seems solid. Good thing they reprinted that shit in an anniversary box.
Oh snap! That was the other condition of playing it. That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Going over the first of the Z battle cards that was coming for this set. Chilai, Dependable Friend. Auto, limit 1. If your leader is green Broly BR card, when this card is played, look up top 7 cards of your top of your deck. Place up to 1 green extra card on one of them under one of your green Broly BR cards. Then shuffle your deck. Activate main. If your leader card is Shenron card, place up to 1 Dragon Ball card from your deck to your drop to shuffle your deck afterwards. It's universal for the old Chilai Limo Wish Leader, if I recall correctly, but it is 1 energy, 1 Z energy.
Does not help that deck at all. like that deck has so many more problems than getting Dragon Balls in the drop area, because I think almost every, most of the expansions have had something to do with that deck. We got the Oob originally, which was the only good way to get Dragon Balls in the drop. We got the Chilai and Limo stuff from Anniversary Box, which did well enough. It's nice to have another option. I don't think this card is necessary for that, but its other effect, it's just, top search, like not bad.
And then we have Limo Dependable Friend as well, which if your leader's Broly BR, you have one green. Oh, this is different. Sorry. If your leader's green Broly BR card and you place one green extra card from your hand under your leader, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, draw one card. Activate main, limit 1. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, during your opponent's next turn, reduce the energy cost of the first extra you activate from under one of your Broly BR cards by one green. That is amazing because it initially makes those negates we went over earlier completely free.
Yeah. Or you've got the one that costs 2. I think it'll make it that one 1. This card is fantastic because it really kind of incentivizes your opponent to KO it, which you benefit off of. It's just a straight +1 if it's KO'd. So very good card. I think this will be run in the archetype for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Touching bases with the Frieza X card we went over, the 1-drop Paragus. Auto, if your leader card is green Broly BR, when this card is played from your hand, look up top 5 cards for your deck, add one green Broly BR card or green extra card of one of them to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. If you add a green extra card to your hand, place up to one green extra card from your hand under one of your green Broly BR cards. Activate main, send this card to its owner's warp. At the start of your next turn, your next turn's main phase, play this card from your warp. Which just kind of... No, it's only from hand. Okay. So then from there, it's protected and you could combo it off at your Z energy afterwards.
I think this Paragus is another card that is going to be really integral to the archetype itself. Like I see this being an automatic 4 of. It does so much for the deck. It enables that Frieza card. Of course, we have other Paragus cards that you could potentially use, but this card it specifically I feel as being incredibly integral.
I think the activate main is kind of weird, but it might be necessary in some matchups if you really need to keep that Paragus alive because you want to proc your Frieza, or for any other effects we might see with the Paragus in the future. But it is kind of odd. We don't see that type of effect a lot. Like we've seen it in the older Rinnegan chains. We've seen it a little bit in Universe 2.
Some of the hit cards had that effect.
Yeah. So it is very interesting to have that particular skill on this card.
And going over the Broly cards finally, we have the 3-drop Broly, which is auto. When this card's played, draw one card. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. Auto, when this card attacks, it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. And at the end of the battle, place this card in its owner's drop. And add up to one green extra card from your drop to your Z energy. Activate main, limit 1 green energy. If there are 4 or more extra cards under your green Broly BR card, play this card from your hand. That's pretty good to play. Pay 1 to play, it replaces itself, KO a card. Yeah.
I see nothing bad about this card.
Yeah.
Everything here is perfectly fine. I will say it is kind of getting annoying that every single battle card that's worth playing in the game has an activate main to play it for a reduced cost. So I am kind of tired of seeing that text. Maybe they can make that into a keyword skill or something like that. But other than that, that's just me nitpicking about the game. But everything on this card is fantastic.
The one thing that I don't like about this card is that it gets rid of itself after the attack. So you can't use this card with the other card, the extra card that would blow up the field. So you can't swing with this card, then blow the field out with this card. Which is kind of a negative, but this card is a 1-drop 25,000 swing, which is huge.
Yeah, I think for how quickly you can play this, I think that's why he removes himself, so you don't have basically and for as cheaply, basically pretty much a 1 cost blow up the field.
Yeah.
And going over the 8-drop Broly, Triple Strike. Permanent, when this card would leave your battle area, you may place 5 extra cards from under this card under your leader instead. Auto, when this card is played, place up to 7 extra cards under your leader under this card. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards to KO it. Activate main, limit 1, 2 green. If there are 10 or more cards under your green Broly BR cards, play this card from your hand. Could come out super quick, which is fantastic. The shifting the card under this card, I don't know. I can't think of like why that would matter based on what we just read, unless I'm missing something completely.
So the big thing is that it protects itself. So if when it's played, it puts 7 cards from the leader underneath this, which is one spot of protection. And then you would put another, if you could get another 3 under there.
Instead. That's the keyword I missed. Okay.
Yeah. So it would be protected. Your opponent would effectively have to destroy this card 3 times to get it off the field. And if you use, say, the card that blows up the field, this card is instantly protected from that KO effect. So your opponent would just lose their field. You'd maintain this Brawly, and then you'd go on. Or you could pair it with the secret rare after this card survived a couple KO attempts. KO it with the battle card effect, and then play out your secret rare off of that.
Yeah, I for some reason just glossed over the instead. That's really good.
Yeah, I like this card a lot.
I mean, it's got good text. Triple strike, 35,000. It's very relevant right now. Every good boss monster is that right now. So again, nothing really to complain about this card. I think pulling the 7 cards is can be kind of painful, because you might lose out on some really good cards in your under your leader that you may want to play if this does not finish the game. But like, other than that, like, I think if you play yourself right and play yourself into a good position, then this card's going to be fantastic.
I will say a lot of the cards just say if it's under a Broly BR, if your leader is Broly BR. So they will still work under the 8 drop.
Oh, as well. Yeah. That's a good point. That is a good point.
Yep.
So with that being said, that is the Broly Ultimate Saiyan. Overall, I think it's a good deck. I'm looking forward to playing it. There's buttons. Click them. Hope you're enjoying what we're doing. And yeah, Fluff, lead us out.
I don't know if this deck is going to be my particular cup of tea, but I'm definitely excited to see what people are able to do with this deck. I think this deck is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be stronger than people are really giving it credit for, especially kind of like in our circle. I think this deck has a lot of potential. So as always, read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and fluff out.